TomHegna. I was able to see him, and boy, he's looking good. He's looking a lot better than me, but so be it. But he's going to be calling in, I'm sure.
I'm here.
Okay, there you are. Well, I'm sorry about whatever it was. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's all these thunderstorms we're having out here. We're not used to thunderstorms. But let me tell people about, because I know that I don't think you're real shy, but you know what? I don't want to put you on the spot. So I'm going to tell people that we are very, very privileged to have Tom with us. And he's an economist, author, retirement expert. I'm trying to be, but I am not of the same caliber. He has been incredibly popular as an industry speaker for many years and considered many to be the retirement income expert, which is what I'm trying to be, but I never will be what he is. He's a former vice president at New York Life. I keep thinking of him as president, but that's okay. Retired lieutenant colonel, economist, and has delivered over 5,000 seminars, 5,001 now, including this, and has some really good books. The one that I see at friends' houses, even though I never knew that they had them, Paychecks and Playchecks, and so he's helping baby boomers, seniors retire in the optimal way, and has condensed a large chunk of his considerable knowledge into these 5 books. And we're going to ask him how to make sure that you can all get these books. So the Paychecks and Playchecks have sold over 120,000 copies, and I'm not sure how old that is, probably a lot more now. Top-rated Kindle version has been the #1 bestseller in its category for over 2 years. Retirement, Income Masters, Secrets of the Pros. I could get into what these books are, but we can wait. Paychecks and Playchecks, Retirement Solution for Americans. There's one for Canadians. So if you're listening worldwide in Canada, you've got a book also. Don't worry, retire happy. 7 Steps to Retirement Security, which is what I think I see more than ever on public television, and 7 Steps to Retirement Security. He specializes in creating simple and powerful retirement solutions, including the cash cows, which I can't stop laughing about, but we can ask him about that. And, he gets things pumped up, gives great, great talks, and been featured in Forbes, Money Rates, and so many other leading publications. I'm going to shut up now because I talk too much anyway, and let Tom go ahead and introduce himself, please.
Well, thanks, Jay. You were very generous in your introduction, so I'm ready to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Well, I just the first, the questions are first of all your books. Let's talk about your books, and if you could kind of go through each one with a condensed version of what that is, and then we'll finish that section up with how people can get a hold of those books, because they're great books. And I am looking at a picture of you on the screen, so you're there too. But it's a still picture, but that's okay. But go ahead and let's talk about your books. So take off,
Sure. So,
please.
so Paychecks and Playchecks was really the math and science behind a successful retirement. What happened is when the markets were crashing in 2008, 2009, people were freaking out. They didn't know
Mm-hmm.
how to retire. And so I put together a book of how to retire the optimal way based on math and science, not based on people's opinions. And this is really the research of PhDs all around the world who've studied retirement. And Paychecks and Playchecks concludes with 4 very simple steps that anybody can put into place. Step number 1, you want to cover your basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income. So you want to figure out how much money do you need to pay for your housing, your clothing, your food, your cell phone, your internet, all your normal expenses. That should be covered with guaranteed lifetime income. Now, what counts as guaranteed lifetime income? Well, Social Security does. Why? Because it's a lifetime income annuity. It's a guaranteed paycheck for life. A pension counts. Why? Because it's a lifetime income annuity. It's a guaranteed paycheck for life. So you take all your basic expenses. Your Social Security counts towards that. If you get a pension, that counts. But if you're short, that's where an income annuity fits. And you can go to any insurance company in America, they sell annuities, and that's where the annuity fits to cover your basic living expenses. And we learned why in COVID. You know, people would say, oh, I don't need an annuity, I got rental property. Yeah, how's that going to work when renters don't have to pay rent and landlords can't evict them? They'd say,
Right,
I use dividend-paying stocks. Well, I love dividend-paying stocks, but during COVID, 600 companies eliminated or slashed their dividends. So they're good to have, but they're not guaranteed lifetime income. You know, laddered bonds don't work because of low interest rate. Municipal bonds have been on the cover of Barron's magazine for, 3 times in the last 2 years because municipalities' expenses have gone up, their revenue's gone down, and some of these bonds are going to be in trouble. So step one, cover your basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income. Step number 2, you want to optimize the rest of your portfolio to protect yourself against inflation. So that's where stocks fit. That's where real estate fits. That's where the dividend-paying stocks fit. Step number 3, you got to have a plan for long-term care. No retirement plan is complete without a plan for long-term care. It's the one thing most people forget about that can wipe out their entire life's work. And then step number 4, the most efficient way to pass wealth to children, grandchildren, and charities is with life insurance. I always tell people, don't leave any money to your kids. You're supposed to spend all of your money. Leave life insurance to them because you can do that for pennies on the dollar. And it's all about how do you get the most for the least in retirement. And that's what Paychecks and Playchecks is about.
Wow. No wonder it's so popular. And it is, right? And it should be.
Yeah.
And, you don't have to have a huge amount of money to be able to follow these things.
No,
but even
it
those
works
people
with
with
anybody,
a huge amount of money, we seem to have a short memory sometimes about what happened in 08 and 09. And when COVID started, I know in my business, the secondary market in Wall Street was starting to, I hate to use the word collapse, but they weren't buying loans in for a while and slashing what people could get. And that luckily didn't turn out to last very long. But we seem to have a short memory when it comes to these things, and we don't get ourselves set up for those steps that you just went over.
Yeah, and people don't realize that the Japanese stock market has been down for over 30 years. The European stock market has been down for over 20 years. We just went through the lost decade from 2000 to 2010 where our stock market did nothing for 10 years. And I guess people have forgotten that. But, I like the stock market, but you can't use a stock portfolio to cover your basic living expenses in retirement. You're going to be very miserable if you try to do that.
Right. And, of course, my cigars and phonograph records, that's included in basic needs, right? Now, don't answer that. Okay?
As is my golf.
Now you're talking like a man. So, one thing that stands out in my mind is don't worry, retire happy, because I see that, a lot on television. Or I used to. I'm not sure how often you're on anymore these days, but I know you're a famous name on public television for retirement education. I believe Don Graves was the first one that mentioned your name to me. And, that's a book also, correct?
Yeah, and that was a PBS TV special that played in 80 million homes in the U.S. and Canada. So Don't Worry, Retire Happy is a little broader than Paychecks and Playchecks. Don't Worry, Retire Happy covers the importance of having a plan and working with a financial professional, that retirement is not a do-it-yourself project. People don't do their own dental work in their garage with their drill set, and I don't think they ought to be doing their own retirement planning either. I use financial advisors, and I know this stuff inside and out. Right. Step number 2, you want to maximize your Social Security benefits. See, most people are not maximizing their benefits. They don't understand the proper strategies, and I talk about that in the book. Step number 3 talks about the importance of a hybrid retirement, maybe working a couple of extra years, even part-time. It can really help your retirement.
Right.
Step number 4, you've got to have that plan to protect yourself against inflation. So you need something that will give you inflation protection. You can do that with stocks or real estate or commodities. You can also do it, the way I've done it is I've laddered my annuities. So I have annuities that start when I'm 60, some that start when I'm 62, some that start when I'm 65, some that start when I'm 70. So I am guaranteed to have increasing income for the rest of my life. And since I converted much of that to Roth, I'm going to have tax-free income
Oh,
for the
that's
rest of my
great.
life.
That's great. Converting to Roth. I need to learn more about that so I can pass that information on.
Yeah.
But I remember, because I'm so old, I remember some things, not everything, but annuities had a bad name, just like reverse mortgages did for a while, and to some extent still do. But annuities do not have that stigma anymore, do they?
No, well, not according to all the PhDs and economists. I mean,
Right.
PhDs and economists who've studied retirement are unanimous. You've got to put an annuity in the portfolio. And the reason is the way that income annuity functions inside of a portfolio, it functions like a AAA rated bond because it's guaranteed every month for the rest of your life. With a triple C
Wow.
rated yield, the payout rate is much higher than you can get in a money market or a CD or a bond because of the mortality credits. And with zero standard deviation,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Right.
fluctuate. And so I can take any annuity hater, any annuity non-believer, and prove to them mathematically and scientifically their portfolio will do better if they simply remove some of the bonds in their portfolio and replace it with an income annuity. And that is based in math and science. That's not my opinion. It's been proven mathematically and scientifically. Dr. Menachem Yari, back in the 1960s, proved that only a lifetime income annuity can optimize income over the indefinite period of human life. See, Jay, you
Right.
don't know when you're going to die. I don't know when I'm going to die. But the
No.
insurance company knows almost to the exact day when 1,000 people are going to die. And because of that, they can pay each and every one of us as though they knew exactly when we're going to die. It's the only product in the world you can buy that will guarantee you will never, ever, ever, ever run out of income.
Yeah, and as one of my frequent guests on the show, Dr. Wade Pfau, I don't know if you're familiar with him or not,
Of
from the
course,
American
he's in all
College.
my books.
Yeah, yeah. He one of the things he always says is never plan on when you die, because it ain't going to happen that way.
Right.
And he
That's
is
true.
so right. And Social Security is important too. Now, a lot of people a lot of people are broke when they're 62 and they have to take it. Okay, I understand some of that, but overall, not everybody is there. When you have a choice, you need to have help in making that choice. Your books are very good, reading material for that. Reference material, I guess, is a better word. And like you say, have a financial plan or two. I don't care how much money you have or don't have. There's always ways to get help, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you said if they're broke, they take it at 62. If they're broke, they shouldn't take it at 60. They should work. They should be working for 8 more years till 70 and then take it. And I know some people say, well,
Good
they're
point.
disabled or they can't. But nowadays, you can do work from home. You can do work on the computer. There's all kinds of things that you can do to continue to earn income. And so anyway, I just think if people really understood
Good.
how
That's
Social
good.
Security
Yeah, I
works,
like that. I like
yeah.
that a lot. I never thought of it that way, but I like that. And I'm still working. I'm still working full time. I'm 75, but if I feel that if I weren't busy, I'd be aging faster. So just because I look like 102 doesn't mean I feel like it.
Yeah. So step number 5 in Don't Worry, Retire Happy is the importance of guaranteed lifetime income again. And I also show that people are happier who have guaranteed lifetime income. People with assets are miserable in retirement. People with income are happier. The Wall Street Journal, the headline read, "The secret to a happier retirement is friends, neighbors, and a fixed annuity." That was in the Wall Street Journal. Time Magazine,
Wow,
lifetime income stream, key to retirement happiness. And now you know what the research shows, Jay. People with annuities tend to live longer as well. Because they have less stress. They don't worry. And because they're being paid to live, they live differently. They watch what they eat. They exercise. They go see the doctor when they're not feeling well. And all these things cause them to tend to live longer. So, any of these annuity haters out there, they do not understand retirement. They haven't read the research of the top PhDs in the world. Because if you read that, you will become very positive on annuities. I own 11 of them. Dr. David Babel, who's in my books, he had 14 of them. Unfortunately, he died last year, but he had 14 annuities. I have 11 of them. We're not dumb people. If these were bad products, we wouldn't own any of them. So you got to do your research. I've done that for you. I put it in the books, and people can just read the books, and all the PhD research is in there, in the footnotes, so they can go check up on all of it.
I'm looking at the monitor now, and it's Sean, our engineer, has got like four really good pictures and things of you and what. And keep your gas tank full. I know there's paychecks and playchecks. Don't worry, retire happy. The books are showing. But now that we're looking at them, let's take a short detour. Tell everybody as if they'd never heard of her, as if they never heard of it. Not be the only way to get them. Tell everybody how to get these books, please.
Well, all my books are available on Amazon. They're available on my website, TomHegna.com. And if your listeners use the code 15OFF, they can get 15% off at TomHegna.com. I also have a YouTube channel that's completely free, and there's hundreds of videos on there that can be helpful to people.
I love YouTube. I've got hundreds of videos too. Of course, nobody watches mine, but that's okay. I enjoy doing it. So, we enjoy doing things to stay. Like I have this 2-hour show. I really look forward to it. And, I think it's one of the things that's keeping me somewhat, up and happy. And I went through a lot of, health problems last year. None of it COVID, because, no matter what, again, having to do with don't plan on when you die, because it won't happen that way. We're also worried about COVID. And then these other things hit me right out of left field. So you got to be ready for things. And one thing you did mention that really rings a bell is health care or even in-home care.
Yeah.
I'm working with a lady right now she pays $6,000 a month in in-home care. That's not health cost. That's not health care costs. That's just in-home care. Probably a lot of it. And I worked with her 10 years ago, and she said, "Oh, I'll never live to 80." Well, she's well into her 80s now, and needs more money. So that's something that when I was an urchin. We got these things. I think back then you were supposed to take 6% out of your retirement, and you were something like that. You planned for your daughter's wedding, even though I don't have a daughter. You planned for education for your kids, but you never planned for health care. That wasn't a part of financial planning, or it didn't seem like it. And it is so important and so expensive.
Yeah. When people say long-term care insurance is expensive, I say, you think long-term care insurance is expensive? Try not having it. Try not having it. That'll wipe you out. Both my parents were in assisted living, $10,000 a month. And there were years my dad didn't make $10,000 a year, $10,000 a month. But see, 18 years ago, I made them buy long-term care insurance. They didn't want to. Yeah. It's too expensive. We'll never need it. It's an insurance company ripoff. My dad said all those words to me. I made them buy it. And they were both in assisted living. I can't imagine what their retirement would have been if they didn't have those policies. Those policies saved their financial situation.
People are always saying, well, insurance is too expensive. You know what? It's not. And when does it become expensive? Well, maybe if you never use it. But you know what? That's great if you never have. And I don't mean dying early. I mean if you never use it. And, people are always telling me about how expensive the mortgage insurance is on my product. And I say, well, have you paid your auto insurance company since you started, minus what they paid you back, and what does that equal? And, insurance is, it's a great industry, and it really helps everybody.
And Jay, if somebody's worried about paying for long-term care insurance and not using it, there are now policies. They're typically life insurance policies that come with a long-term care benefit. And so they really do three things. Number one, they're an emergency fund. So let's say, for example, a person puts $100,000 in there. These policies come with a money. They come with a money-back guarantee, so you can get that $100,000 out if you need it. But if you don't need it and you die, there's a death benefit, roughly double, $200,000. But if you don't die and you need long-term care, there's a long-term care benefit, roughly $300,000, and depending on your age and all that. But that policy does three things in one. It's an emergency fund. If you don't ever use it, it goes to your kids tax-free with an extra death benefit. If you need it, it's there. It comes to you tax-free. And so there are new products on the market that can help people so that their money isn't gone if they don't use it.
And either way, it helps your legacy because number one, if you need it, my God, look how much money it has saved you and your children from having to spend. Yep. And if you don't use it, they get the insurance death benefit. So it's a win-win all the way around.
Yep.
And I can't believe we're just about at the top of the hour again. I turn around and all of a sudden I'm 75 years old. Time goes fast, doesn't it?
Yep.
And it goes faster than we want to realize, in spite of the fact of trying to get as much as we can out of every day. But one more quick time before we go, because I really, and before the hook comes out and pulls me off stage here when we hit the top of the hour, um, I really want to thank you so much. I know we don't have your video, but you know we've got so much from you, and yeah, I'll be doing a video and sending it to you, and I'll put more more visuals on that. But I really feel privileged to have you been a part of us for the last just about a half hour. I do apologize for any Skype problems. So one more time, give how they can find you, your website, that kind of thing, because it's so important to get a hold of you, and people should do it. Just get yourself prepared. Best way to get yourself prepared is to read Tom's books and his YouTube channel. So go ahead and lay
Yeah.
that out
So,
one more time, please.
yeah, if you go to Amazon.com, you could just put my name, Tom Hegna, Hegna. But you can also go to TomHegna.com and use the code 15OFF to get 15% off. And then, of course, you go to YouTube, just put in my name, Tom Hegna, and there's many, many, many videos.
And videos are good. I mean, when I was a kid, I liked reading, but I liked the ones with pictures in them the best. So
Sure.
I'm still kind of the same. And I really want to thank you so much. And although the audience on video can't see you now, I did see you, and you look really, really good. So keep yourself safe, and you and your family, and I really appreciate it one more time, and thank you so much. And for the rest of the audience, we'll be back.